Welcome, little one. This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
All right, men. Listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
What up, my fellow Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bad Channel. We are live in a galaxy far, far away in a Batcave, nonetheless.
Not that far.
What's up? Oh, it's not terribly far. It's just Colorado. As you know, I have to bring in the best co-host I could ever ask for. He was on a fire show with the Zod Rider himself, Super Bro Corey. How's it going, big fella?
Forming up, boss. Oh, look at that. Man, push you to the side. There we go.
Oh, so I see how it is now. Now that you're a big shot, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know, that was a fun stream with Zod Rider the other night on Thursday, late night Q&A. It was a good stream. Thanks for everybody who showed up for that. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you catch on the replay.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely check out the replay if you haven't. It was a great show. Always loved the Zod Rider. But we have, unfortunately, Orkin Beans 14 can't join us today. He had some family emergency, so our thoughts and our well wishes go out to him and his family and his lovely wife, Rachel. So we're thinking about you guys, but the show goes on nonetheless to bring you guys more great Star Wars Delta Squad stream content. So let's bring in one of our OG guests. You know him. He wasn't here last week, but he's back. The Savage Bet.
Wow.
Hit it.
Yeah. Come on.
Straight out of G-City, y'all know me. I'm Batman, the motherfucking Dark Knight. I'm a playboy by day, vigilante by night. I'm Batman, the defender of Gotham. I dress up like a bat, cause it's motherfucking awesome. Batman's in the house, come and party in the Batcave. Yo, Alfred.
Yes, Master Wayne.
Bring some more Cavassier.
Yo, what's up,
buddy?
motherfuckers? Yeah, it's good.
It's good to see you, man. How you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Sorry I missed last week's stream. It was unavoidable, but, you know, I'm back now. Back in full force.
Understandable. Hey, Corey called you out quite a bit. Not in a bad way, but just called you out and referencing all the things that you wanted addressed about last week's episode, gave you your rating and stuff like that. So people did know what you think. And but if you want to just briefly tell us what were your thoughts last episode?
Yeah, last episode was great. As you know, I'm super fan of Star Wars. I fucking love it. Obviously we're going to move on to today's episode, but yeah, really enjoyed the last episode. It was a nice setup for this one, which is we're going to discuss that now. So yeah, it's something else.
Yeah, this episode was definitely exciting and just like Savage said, we're going to go into it, and it was just phenomenal. But you know, the Delta Squad is incomplete. We need a 4-man team. So without further ado, let's bring in our next guest. You've seen him on our show before, Mr. Bat Dan Stouts.
This is where the fun begins.
Obi-Wan gave up. I stand with Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, pal, that's right. I gave you the Anakin.
That's it. Take him out.
Nope, I'm right there with him. Yeah.
Kicked.
Yeah.
He said a few words, and he's already
That's
team today.
That's right.
How's it going, Bat Dan?
Good. You know, had fun watching Skywalker stream last night. Had one too many a few, but I actually just saw this Andor episode just now. Just completed it, so you're gonna get really fresh perspective.
It's not even quite soaked in yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's in. Oh my gosh, guys. You are always so crazy. Well, as always, guys, it's awesome to see you guys here on the panel with the Delta Squad and everyone in the chat. It helps us out so much, guys, when you check out our other social media pages like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at _Bat channel. Our Discord is coming soon. I'm still working on building it with Orc and Beans 14. Life's been a little crazy lately, so we haven't been able to get it up as soon as I would like. But you can also follow us on Facebook at Holy Bat Channel if you haven't already. Just reach out to us. Let us know some of the topics you guys would like us to discuss, maybe about Star Wars, maybe about something else. We'd love to hear from you guys. So definitely follow us on our other social media pages. And you can help us out by smashing that like, sharing this video, get all of your friends into the chat. The more people, the merrier. We have so much fun when we have like 30 people and Corey's struggling to get through all the chats. I love that. I love when Corey struggles through the live chats. And he ignores me when I ask him, hey, what did you think about this? And he's like, huh?
I know the truth came out on the Zod stream last night.
Yeah, which Corey has announced that he is leaving our show, going over to Zod.
That was funny. That was a great show, by the way.
Yeah,
lovely show. Definitely check out that Zod Rider show, guys, if you haven't. Super Bro Corey was awesome, and just great to see those two together.
I was repping my Snyder Knights t-shirt and everything like that too, so it was a good time.
Right, yeah. But yeah, man, it's some crazy stuff going on as always. I feel like, guys, this episode, it was action packed. We should just get like right freaking into it. This episode was called The Eye, and what a cool, just like visually stunning show this one was. I mean, as Orc and Bean said, in previous episodes with the episode 5 and episode 4 review, that those really felt like a really long filler bridge to get to this moment. So you knew this moment was just going to be crazy. It was going to be action packed, but I'll be honest with you. I got thrown off a little bit with the opening music of this because it was kind of sad. It was chill. And I've noticed with each opener of the Andor theme, generally the music matches the tone and the style of what we're going to see in this episode. Like the last couple of episodes have sounded tenseful. It sounded like something was about to happen, kind of like a ticking time bomb almost, with the music, almost like Interstellar by Hans Zimmer. But this music was very kind of almost sadness in a way. It was very interesting and not calming so much, but maybe that was the idea for the opening scene. What did the opener throw you guys off? Did you kind of notice the difference? Like, oh, this is chiller. Why?
Yeah, I did think that. And from the last episode, it was obvious that this one was going to kick off really badly. So yeah, when it first started, I was like, oh, right, something's going on here. A little bit reminiscent of Anakin when he's contemplating, in Revenge of the Sith, that sort of thing. Something serious is about to happen.
That's a great comparison there.
Yeah. How about you, Bat-Dan?
I didn't really. I'll be honest. I didn't really notice the music that much. My brain tonight's a little blab, but yeah. So yeah, I didn't really notice the music foreshadowing anything. Just so I have to rewatch the episode again to catch that.
Well, see, it's me, man. I'm always gonna be paying attention to the music. Everyone's giving me crap during the Obi-Wan Kenobi series where I was like, oh man, I wish they would have used a little bit more motifs from John Williams scores and stuff like that. And they're like, dude, just enjoy Natalie Holt's music. And Natalie Holt did a great job, but this composer is doing a really cool job too with Andor. How about you, Corey? Did you notice already, like, oh, this is different? Like,
no, I didn't realize there was a different kind of a theme to it.
One. What? Oh, well, guys. Okay, the opening episode of the opening scene was very reminiscent of another movie, and actually, the new rock stars pointed this out as well. But I happened to catch it. But the whole scene with Orkin Bean's favorite character, Namek, and Andor, they have this whole scene where they're basically, he's like, I should feel calm because of my faith and my dedication to the rebellion, to fighting against oppression. He's like, but I'm nervous as hell right now. I can't sleep. And he's like, and there you are, Andor. Like, you're calm as ever. You slept silently, peacefully through the night. He's like, how's that possible? How can you do that? What's your guys' thoughts on Andor's response and like that whole dialogue between the two? We'll start for all these. We'll start with like Savage, Bat-Dan, Corey, kind of like how Corey has it set up here. So go ahead, Savage.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, it's all like leading up to sort of the suspicion part, because that was the whole sort of episode had that undertone of it, that there's something very suspicious going on. Which we'll talk about later, obviously.
Yeah.
That kind of, set the tone for that, really, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Bat-Dan?
Honestly, I thought he was going to be the traitor when I saw that. Just the way he was just nervous and like hiding something. I mean, I'll be honest. I kind of jumped back and forth in who I thought was going to end up being a traitor, but.
Out of curiosity, did you always, suspect a traitor, Bat-Dan, or what? Did you watch our last review and was like, oh yeah, Trey keeps saying there's a traitor, or like, did you get the feeling too someone in that group was gonna be in it for themselves?
I knew someone was gonna be in it for themselves. I mean, you're stealing money. They say money's the root of all evil, so yeah, someone was. If you're stealing, if a bunch of people are stealing money, even if it's to stop oppression, someone's going to be like, "Hey, that's a lot of money. I'm going to take it and run." So, or I thought maybe someone might have sold them out to the Empire. It was one of those two things. But you always have to have a traitor in this kind of like. That's just how that
in these types of
works.
Shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How about you, Super Bro Corey?
Yeah. No, I think after we talked about it last week with potential traders and stuff like that, that's when I really started to kind of like tune in to like everybody's like, it made me super suspicious, man. I was like, what you just say? Like that, watching people's behavior. So it's like, I tell you one thing. I had after the conversation last week and then watching the beginning of all this, and Nemec himself, I knew he was toast.
You know, as they kind of show in every, you know, TV series, it's not good to be like the moral compass of any group. Like, you know, the moment you hear a guy say like, "This is not who we are," that's the moment you'd be like, "Shut your mouth! You're gonna."
I was like, "He's dead! Oh, he dead!"
Oh my god! Yeah, I mean, man, I will say, this episode partly why I like went so crazy about it is because everything that I said was going to happen, like it did. It like went down almost exactly the way I thought it was going to. Other than, and I'll explain that when we get to that portion of the story, but. For me, in our last episode, when I talked about there's a traitor amongst this group, there's someone who's not telling the truth, who's going to betray the group. He's going to be in it for themselves. And Cassian was going to be pushed into his next evolution of his character for believing into the rebellion because of a death of another character. And the fact that it all went down that way, I was like, my man, like I am smart. But one thing I really loved about Nemec's like quote is, and I pulled it up here because I think it really like went to show for this entire episode of just kind of what we were going to see. But he says to Cassian, "I'm struggling to understand why my faith doesn't call me. I believe in something. Why am I so unsettled? I mean, you have nothing. You sleep like a stone. I write when I can't sleep. Wrote about you last night, not you specifically, not Clem." You know, because he revealed that he's not pretty much Clem. He's someone else. But he says, "Although I'm assuming that's not your real name anyway, the role of mercenaries in the galactic struggle for freedom. My conclusion is simple. Weapons are tools. Those that use them are, by extension, functional assets that we must use to our best advantage. The Empire has no moral boundaries. Why should we not take hold of every chance we can? Let them see how an insurgency adapts." And then, you know, Cassian does this whole dialogue where he's just like, "Yeah, you're half right, but this is not, the Empire doesn't play by the rules, right? They do whatever they need to do." And I just love that Nemec says to him that he's like, basically like, "So you think it's hopeless? Freedom, independence, justice. We should just submit and be thankful." And I love that Cassian just responds, "Do I look thankful?" You know, like to me, that was just like, that whole dialogue right there was like one of the best dialogues in this entire series, easily. What did you guys think about learning of one of the characters, Lieutenant, sorry, not Lieutenant Gorn, it's Terramin, who is helping out with the rebellion, who kind of taught them how to act like a soldier. We find out that he used to be a stormtrooper.
Yeah,
did that make you think, oh, he could be the traitor?
Yeah, initially, yeah, maybe it was a plant, you know. Yeah, but just the fact that he was an ex-stormtrooper was really cool as well.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, and nonetheless, a stormtrooper with good aim. Finally,
yeah.
You know. But Batan, what did you think of learning about Terramin's previous history of being a stormtrooper who's now turned to the rebellion?
I immediately thought of Finn. That's like the first thing came to me, was like, oh, they're taking a story from the sequel trilogy, but actually improving upon it.
Yeah.
I figured he wasn't the traitor, though. I felt like that was too obvious. Like, because he was a stormtrooper, it's like, it just way too predictable at that point.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. How about you, Super Bro?
Yeah, no, I thought that was cool too, and I noticed that as well, that he shot better than any, and maybe that's why he got out of that stormtrooper.
He saw it's just like, no, this.
Yeah,
is not
it's like, I can't be the only one shooting this
kid. Shooting this well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Shooting this well.
Oh my gosh. Well, we got introduced to one of the characters that we saw in the trailer, who really had me excited, because I think he was going to show kind of that hierarchy of the Empire, of the different levels, the officers, and man, oh man, the commandant, J-Hold Biaz. What did you guys think about his leadership, and kind of what he does this whole speech about how easy it was to oppress and take the freedoms and rights away from the indigenous people of the planet.
Yeah, well, it's just typical, Nazi behaviour from the Empire, and just made it plainly obvious, because the thing with the Empire, and it's like Nazis in films or something like that. It doesn't need explaining. They're the bad guys, and it's kind of like that. And it was just solidifying that these guys are completely, brainwashed by the Empire to be evil.
Yeah.
And it takes an evil person to join, and go along with it.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Batman? What did you think of the Commandant?
It reminded me a little too much of American history, to be honest with you. Ironically, I'm saying this around Indigenous People Day too.
Yeah, and you know what? That was very interesting, right? Because we did just have Indigenous Day, and it's very reminiscent of that, right? Like even with the Nazis, but even like American history of the French and British settlers coming in and trading pelts and slowly taking away the land of the Native Americans. And you hear the Commandant like speaking on that, and it's literally that whole situation. He's basically telling them like they had no idea. We gave them alcohol, we were getting them drunk, infiltrating them within, and they had no idea that slowly we were taking away their rights and their land. They had no idea. It was easy, and you can tell kind of the running theme. And I see that Butler mentioned it, the fat and proud. Right? Like, yeah. And this guy was the very definition of what Cassian has hated about the Empire. They're fat, they're proud, they're comfortable. They would never expect anyone to just walk in and take it from them.
Lord Kojak, I was just about to say that. Bruce Wayne, pelts and skins, they were hunters. The Wayne family, definitely British evil colonizers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Bruce Wayne's in that group, right?
Yeah.
But man, I just thought that whole scene, and you can tell he's kind of like a brutal guy, and I love that he's trying to fit his belt around, and he's just like, oh, like there's something wrong with this suit, and his wife just calls him out like, bro, you're just getting fat. Like, things I often say to my wife. No, I'm just kidding.
You better not say that.
I don't say she as mean as in like I'm the Commandant. She's telling me I'm getting fat. No. God, now we're
like
going to cancel the match.
Yeah. You calling the wife fat? Calling the wife fat?
Oh, I hope she's not watching this show.
No, don't worry.
You're in trouble, buddy.
I know. Yep, here it is. I'm in trouble. Oh my gosh. But I love that we start to see the the chieftain with the Aldani indigenous people. They're coming to celebrate this festival of the eye, and I loved this whole metaphor that they were using with this special festival. This very cool. Basically, it was like a crystal media shower that they were gonna watch that creates this eye. And it was beautiful, and we'll talk about it in a second. But I loved that when the Commandant went to go meet the chieftain, and they do the trading of the pelts. I love that the guy was like, oh, may the eye find something good in you. And while it was like, basically it was like a very like open, proper, like hello there, like it was also a dig at the Empire, and they had no idea. And I loved that Lieutenant Gorn, who is the infiltrator for the rebels in the Empire, had to twist the words around so the Commandant wouldn't know about it. What did you guys think about all those metaphors about the eye looking through you? It's seeing the good in people, and in a way, the eye was watching for the rebels. There was a lot of metaphors in there, and like, what's your thoughts, Savage?
Well, yeah, it is. It was like kind of, it's connected to the Force and stuff, and and at the end of the day, it protected them, gave them cover and a distraction. There was a bit of definitely a bit of Force going on there.
How about you, Batman?
Well, I kind of thought the whole like when the lieutenant corporal, all these rankings confuse me, but like when he was like saying we'll honor you with the presence of our absence was like, I thought was him kind of like making the point that, I mean, one, obviously he was part of the cover to help the rebels, but like also kind of symbolizing that the Empire, they don't belong in the eye. We're like the good people. We're like the eye sees good in people because the Empire, let's just be honest, is just not good.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Super Bro?
Yeah, very, very similar take on that as well. I thought it was I thought everything was really well written in the dialogue this go around. From the first quote line with Nemec all the way to this, it was very foreshadowing, kind of just overall great
and the messages
writing.
everywhere.
Yes, and the messages everywhere. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And I also loved just the simple details. Like you see they're walking in, Aunt Cassian and his squad is walking in trying to impersonate these Imperial troopers, and no one would recognize them, but because they simply are just, and you see like the slight doubt, the little, basically the people are starting to like have, doubts about them, like who are these guys, but yet they're in Imperial things. The Lieutenant Gorn is talking to them as if he knows them, so everything must be good. It's just that comfort that you see that the Empire had with everyone there. And I just love that even Lieutenant Gorn was able to, you hear him say like, yeah, I basically put the most the sucky soldiers, the ones who don't pay attention to detail, the ones who don't follow protocol, in the places that they would need to be, so that way it would be easier to steal from the Empire. And I loved that. I thought that was such a great scene. What did you guys think of when the time is here? The time is now to make their move, and they capture the Commandant, his family, and also the other officer into this room, and they're having to be like very good guys. They're having to, holding the kid at gunpoint, the family at gunpoint. What did that take you by surprise at all? Skeen was the one holding the gun, so he probably would have done something. But just as Star Wars fans and everything we know about Star Wars, we've heard Diego Luna, who plays Cassian, talk about how this show is complex. It's complicated. It's not black and white like we're used to, the innocence of Star Wars.
Yeah.
This episode really honed in on that. What did you think about that, Savage?
Yeah, it was really, really cool, but kind of expected, because they did touch on that in Rogue One as well. When he shot his mate at the beginning, and stuff like that. So that kind of tone's been started. But yeah, they pointed the gun at the kid's head, and then on a couple of occasions actually threatened to kill them. And so yeah, not very. I don't think Luke Skywalker would approve of that.
Yeah, and you also saw like a quick little clip of Skeen pushing his.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty savage, as they say.
Right? Yeah. No play on words. What did you think, Batman?
I liked it because it shows that the rebels are not always squeaky clean. It's that sometimes they do have to make the difficult choices, and maybe it's not not always the right ones at times. Is that when you're in a situation like this, you have to do sometimes amoral things to survive, and without jumping too much ahead, it kind of shows later on why that one betrayal later on was even worse, because think about what they're doing. They're stealing money. Mm-hmm. They're doing it to hurt the Empire, but if you're, let's say, trying to take personal gain out of this, all you really are at that point is a bank robber, a selfish bank robber. You're hurting, because I know I said the Empire is evil, but my take is that not necessarily every single employee in the Empire is a bad person. Not everyone knows not everyone knows how corrupt the Empire is. I think a lot of people, they believe that the Empire is doing the right thing, and a lot of people are just doing their jobs at times. And especially now, think about it. The rebels are coming in, they're holding a gun at a child. If you don't know whose side to take, I'm just going to say it. I probably would have sided with the Empire at that point, because I just see you're holding a gun to a child's head. Why do I believe that you're the good guy?
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Right?
Exactly. Well, that's why Anakin turned to the dark side, is because, again, the people who are supposed to be the good guys have done amoral things, and that's how you win people over. You show the side that the good guys are doing and how they're acting is maybe they're not that good, and that's how, again, it's, maybe, again, as kind of what I say, maybe Obi-Wan is a lot more at fault than people like to give him credit for.
Interesting. I mean, you do bring up a good point, because in in the prequels, it is very innocent, right? So like when Obi-Wan just simply says, well, you are lost, as a kid watching that, because I think I was 9 years old when episode 3 came out. I remember thinking like, yeah, you are lost, Anakin. Like, it's the Jedis, they're good. And now growing up and watching the Clone Wars show, you do start to see moments and elements of where maybe in a way, just like the Empire being too proud and comfortable, like they can do no wrong. In a way, maybe the Jedi did wrong by ignoring some of the issues or thinking too highly of themselves.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that they're going to touch on that in Tales of the Jedi with Count Dooku. It's all going to be about that.
Yeah, which
that's
Tales of
why
the Jedi next weekend, right?
That's why Dooku joined the dark side.
So you agree with me and Batman? Obi-Wan gave up too soon.
No, Obi-Wan did not.
I did not even say that.
That's what you guys said.
Well, I did. I said Jedi, as in like the council did wrong. If you said the council
Obi-Wan
failed
on the
Anakin,
council,
I would agree. Obi-Wan never failed Anakin.
No, that's funny. No, I like what you guys said there. That's pretty deep. I think on the flip side too, I also dug that scene quite a bit. And sometimes you got to get a little dirty to fight the bad guys, right? You got to fight fire with fire sometimes when you're that deep. And I feel like with the Empire, this big and just you got to send a message, right? And that guy clearly wasn't going to move unless we're talking about blowing out his son's brains all over the floor.
Well, I think he was trying to call their bluff, and the moment when they took out the other officer, the guy was like, oh shit, they're not kidding. Like
exactly.
It was that moment of like, yeah, I think in a way it was great because the commandant in that situation, like, he was like mirroring us, like, oh, it's the rebels, it's the good guys, like they would never hurt a kid, and then they just go boom, like, you don't think we'll do it?
And that's what I kind of loved of it, like because there's two sets of frame, like I think about like that old middle like there was like a terrorist thing in the Middle East or something along those lines, and they captured a bunch of Americans and they captured a bunch of Russians, and the Americans were talking to the terrorists, trying to get the people back, through diplomatic measures. The Russians started to send body parts of the terrorist families to them, and then immediately they just gave everybody, like, all right, take the Russians. We don't want to play that game no more. So it was kind of you kind of have to send a message that at that level if you're
and I really like that Cinder character that done it. That shot them. Yeah. She's really cool. Like, just doesn't fuck around. Boom, dead.
I like that you saw like a little bit of like guilt on her face for doing it. Like she didn't want to kill the person.
And well, I mean, it was kind of like that same reaction that we saw Cassian had in Rogue One when he killed that dude. You could tell he was distraught about it, but at the same time, he knew he had to do it to fight another day. And it's very kind of interesting when you look at it that way. But sorry, Corey, can you go back to Kojay's comment there?
Yeah.
I think Kojay says, I feel that the guy at the end who started this mission didn't care the outcome and just wanted to make a dent in the Empire to show society that someone is against the Empire.
And I like what Kojay says here too. I feel that rebelling will be ugly and imperfect until Luke comes along to bring new hope.
Yeah.
But and exactly, but like you gotta think, man. These like Andor says, there's no rules with the Empire, so they make their own rules. And if they make their own rules, then you better be willing, especially when you're in the initial phase of the rebellion, you better be ready to do some dirty stuff.
Cassian says it in Andor, assassin, saboteurs, that speech that he does.
Yeah.
And that just hits the nail on the head, really.
Absolutely.
And then you got Saw Gerrera, who's even worse.
He's
he's getting into like Bin Laden territories.
Yeah.
Even in the Rebels, they didn't agree with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's gone too far. Like,
I think Saul
he's
Gerrera's
basically he's a terrorist.
Yeah. He's going to be a great point of narrative for like going what's too far for the rebellion. What's goes to that side where it's like, okay, that then we're no better than the Empire in a way, because Saul was so paranoid that he was turning on his own people. Towards the end, especially. So I think that right there could be a great story point for Cassian of figuring out where that kind of that happy median is. And we'll kind of go on to where when we get to that end, because I thought what Cassian does at the end was very interesting and makes you kind of wonder about his future. I mean, obviously we know where he ends up in Rogue One, but I think it's interesting for the fact that we still have 6 episodes left of this season.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. Corey, can you go to our next slide, please, sir? So we get to the mission, and I think someone said, I can't remember. I thought I read someone in the comments saying that the fact that the Empire doesn't even trust their people. It may have been Oracle or someone. But yeah, I mean, in a way, the fact that the Commandant didn't even know some of the things that were going on, or like how to get into the safe and stuff. Like he's like, oh, they don't tell us that stuff, and he's like, we can't like just take those out without this code and stuff. And the fact that they're like, oh, I mean, yes, he was trying to drag time on, but it definitely seems like even the Empire things like, oh, there's someone here in this group, they can't control, so, but I thought that was very interesting. As we get to this moment, with they're finally pulling off the heist, right? They're getting all the credits onto the ship. It was starting to become clear who potentially could be the traitor, and that was Skeen. Skeen, the moment he sees those credits, it was like a kid in a candy shop. You see the greed pouring out of his eyes. What did you guys think about this whole moment? And honestly, it was a smart plan to have all those troopers down there, all the Imperials, get all the credits for them. But I also love that they have the Commandant put in some work too. What were you guys thinking about the whole heist?
First thing, and I've talked about this before, and I got told off by someone in the comments. Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood, where they steal the gold from the Nazis. It's pretty much the same thing. Just without the comedy, really, and money blinds you, and as soon as, like you said, as soon as they saw that gold, it changed everything.
Yeah, at that point, it was kind of like you start to see what truly motivated people, right? Like Nemec obviously was very rebellion, but I think there was also some more telling things with Skeen, because Skeen was like, he was told to cover some of the other guys in his team, and he was doing a horrible job with the rifle that he had. Like you could tell, like he was trying to save his neck and didn't care about his team members, Batan, what were your thoughts about the whole heist sequence? Do you feel like their plan was flawless, or do you think there was a lot of issues they had?
Well, no plan was ever going to be flawless. There's always going to be something that can go wrong, because Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong. I think it was smart to kind of, because it seemed to me like they were like, a lot of the Empire were taking the gold for themselves too, because again, the Empire, a lot of them are not good people, so of course they're going to take money. And I think there was definitely a lot of stuff that could have a lot of stuff went wrong, but there's nothing you can completely prepare for. The only true way you could prepare for stuff if you became a psychic and could see the future, and like there's always something that could happen that you just can't account for. So I think maybe just have some. They should have just been able to like think on their feet more at certain points, but I thought that was a really great sequence, and definitely had me on the edge of my seat there, and I was worried, especially when like the guy was choking choking Andor. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to kill him because Rogue One, but especially with like how do you say his name again? Like the kid
Nemec or Nemec, something like that.
When
I'm probably messing up with Dragon Ball Z. I've watched that too many times to be like Nemec.
But when he shot the guy choking Cassie or choking Andor, it was like just showed that he kind of actually did. Because that was a hard shot to make. That was a really hard shot to. Because when you're shooting someone who's choking someone else, you have to like make sure you're hitting that person, not the person you're trying to save. So, but it really showed how dedicated he truly was to the cause.
Absolutely. How about you, Superhero Corey? What did you think about the heist plan, and do you think they executed about as well as it could have, or were there flaws?
There was definitely flaws. There were some things that I didn't like the entire time. I was thinking for myself, I was like, I don't know if I would have done things like that. It's very chaotic. It's very which it kind of has to be too. Maybe a little bit more intel of what from Gorn, what goes down in that room, like how many people are going to be there, because it kind of looked like they were surprised how many people were downstairs too, and when they were just like all running around, that shit was very chaotic as well, and there's a lot moving. And personally, if I was an Empire guy down there, I would have used the chaos of that moment to have gotten my weapon back and started the fight. So it was just very chaotic to me. So I'm not surprised, to see how it turned so quickly when those guys went downstairs. To be honest with you, they once the first few guys came downstairs, I would have immediately just started shooting at them.
Well, I mean, just even with the fact that, you knew their plan was only going to work for so long, because if they just got away smoothly, that would have been like a boring episode. Something needed to go down.
For sure.
And yes, they did choose a good time, the distraction of the festival, where a lot of the troopers would be focused on just the event, because gosh, like what just a gorgeous, like freaking
it's a great
event,
distraction.
that it is. But you also had the communications array officer. He started picking up that things weren't working. Communications were down. The power went out, and he can't get a hold of people. Sorry, go ahead.
It must have been. He said it must have been something to do with the eye. Maybe it was a connection to that. Yeah.
So it created doubt amongst some of the officers, but it's not until just because of one person's piqued curiosity and his doubt, he was able to kind of mess with some of the signals until he picks up their transmitters to find out, oh no, there's a heist going on right now. We need to get down there. But even as you see throughout that episode, not everyone is going to help, like some people didn't even knew about it because they had the communications down and they were just focused on that, the eye event. So, which was, God, it was so, Corey, let's go ahead and just pull up that slide, because holy cow, that was just cinematically one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen Star Wars do.
Yeah.
The whole eye.
It was gorgeous. It was man, yeah, just absolutely beautiful. Like Northern Lights times 1,000.
Oh, great. Yeah, Corey. Yeah, the Northern Lights, it was definitely like that. I kept my focus kept thinking like, oh yeah, this is like Star Wars version of a meteor shower, but yeah, man, the Northern Lights, it's very much reminiscent of that too. And just how it makes an eye, like holy cow, that was cool. Obviously, as things start to heat up in that, communication array officer gets a group of the Imperial soldiers down there to find out the heist is going on. The Commandant has a heart attack, and the battle begins, right? And it's going crazy. Things aren't going well. We lose one of our faithful officers of the rebellion. I think, oh gosh, I keep forgetting his name. It's like Tarman, something like that.
Too many names.
He dies.
Barcona.
And partly because Skeen wasn't doing a good job covering them. But more importantly, and Orkin Beans, I'm sure was destroyed by this. But Nemec is crushed by a large panel of credits to the point where he's now paralyzed. And I heard someone on Twitter talk about that, like being crippled by the capitalism. Basically, it was like kind of the thoughts on that, because Nemec's character was kind of very against like empire, capitalism, all that. It's kind of an interesting metaphor if that was their design by it. But what did you guys think of? Here they are. First off, tell me about what you think about the eye, and then tell me about seeing the TIE fighters going through that in this chase now.
Well, this is the bit I've been looking forward to, because this was the main part that I just loved. The gunfight in the thing with Star Wars. But not just that, the inside the dam, I've got a little bit of info on that for in a little bit. But when there is inside the dam, and it was like the old 1977 Star Wars equipment like they did in Rogue One, with all that background and everyone's shooting at each other and all that. But as soon as those TIE fighter pilots went to get in the TIE fighters, that was it. I was like, that was the Rocky IV moment. Yeah. Like, and the alarm goes off. It's like, like yes, now this is pod racing. Yeah. Yeah. And that was just blew my mind. I was just like, yes, this is fucking Star Wars, man. Fucking have it.
Totally. And I think that's what partly made this episode so great, is like, yes, you do have everyone in the Imperial officer, uniforms that kind of puts you in that Star Wars. But really, when you heard that,
when that alarm went off and they was getting into the TIE fighters, I was like, yeah,
it was nerding out big time on that. Batman, what did you think about
geeking out totally?
I was glad to finally see Andor actually be a pilot, because they kept talking about, oh, I'm a great pilot, but we haven't really seen it till now, where we actually got to see him navigate through the eye. And just visually, it was just such a stunning sequence, just seeing like the TIE fighters chase him. And I'll be honest, when they were like worried about Nemec, I'm like, okay, guys, I understand he's injured, but like, you got to give him the codes, because you're all gonna die, including Nemec, if you don't like tell him where to go like right now. I don't know. The only thing I didn't like how Nemec died there, though. It just feels like such a lame way to kill off a character, honestly. It's, well, you know the term Boba Fett a character? That's where it's like a character gets killed in a stupid way. That's what that was to me.
Koj just brought up that indie TIE Fighter anime short film. That it reminded me a lot of that, because they do the same in that. The guy that made that, it was for a project, and he never wanted it to be released. It was like a portfolio to show companies how good he could do animation and stuff, and it leaked. And it's one of the most amazing bits of Star Wars, and it's not even made by Star Wars.
Oh wow! I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's like basically a Japanese manga short of from the Empire's point of view. And it's amazing. The scenes of the TIE fighters and X-wings and missiles going everywhere, absolutely beautifully drawn. It's absolutely amazing.
All right, yeah, we'll have to.
That's
check that out sometime.
Really, really, really good. Yeah. And we was never even supposed to see it. The guy said, I didn't want it released.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Someone just saw it and was like, hack it and release
it.
That's the internet for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or maybe he didn't want it released to avoid copyright.
Yeah, no. Well, no, because if you're not making any money out of it, it's fine to make anything.
Yeah,
it's just as long as it too. Yeah, you can make anything you like as long as you don't profit from it. You know?
Yeah, because those Darth Vader shorts that he Star Wars Theory does are phenomenal. Like some of the best shit ever. Super Bro Corey, what did you think about seeing the eye in this whole chase scene sequence going down?
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal scenes here. I do want to bring up what Oracle Clock Tower said here. It was a lot for a 4-people team to handle this entire heist. So the fact that they were questioning whether or not they needed Andor, to me, just shows like how insane the initial plan was. Could you imagine how it would have gone down if Andor wasn't there? But man, when those, I got chills as well, Savage. When those the siren goes off and
it's just that was the moment. It's like
they're popping in and they're dialing things up, turning things on. I was like, oh yeah. I'm
Right,
ready to fly,
yeah.
baby. This is where the fun
So
is.
fucking awesome.
It
That's
kind of
just
reminded me of
Star
Battlefront
Wars.
2 a little bit. The new
Yeah.
game that I'm totally spacing that one character that, but just how it was shot, you know,
That is
even inside
peak,
the typer.
peak Star Wars.
Yeah,
Is that right? That is just, it's just the best.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's just so done so well.
and it was so great. Partly what I loved about this is, I mean, basically, like, you know, the fact that there was, and Corey, go ahead and turn to the next slide. But you know, obviously, they need Nemec, who has the Star Path, you know, unit to help them find their path of, you know, how to get through the eye safely. So they hit him with an adrenaline shot, which I don't think we've ever seen in Star Wars. I wonder if it was like a Bacta, you know, adrenaline shot or something. But this kid's like fighting for his life, and he's trying to read the path. And I love that because the eye is like basically screwing up even the Imperial devices, so they can't really track and shoot their missiles at you know, Cassian in that ship. And they're getting all destroyed. But in a way, it was kind of metaphor that like the eye judges who's good and who's bad, right? Like the eye was destroying the Empire, but yet the, you know, Cassian, and you could say plot point, but like I looked at it as like kind of in a deep metaphorical way of just saying that the eye was judging good versus evil in a way. But even
It's not an evil eye.
an evil eye, right? It's like this eye of Sauron. But we get to this really awesome part where they're able to escape with the credits. But here's the issue: Nemec he's badly injured. They need to get him to a doctor. And I thought this was very interesting. Vale, the leader of the group, was instantly like, "Nope, he's done for. Let's continue on and finish our mission." But Skeen, and we obviously know why he does what he does. But Skeen is very adamant. He needs a doctor. We wouldn't be here without him, you know. But I was shocked by Vale on that. What did you guys think? That she was just immediately like, "Yep, write him off. He's out."
It's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah. There's, you know, I didn't even at that point really sort of have a clue what was going on. It wasn't until, you know, afterwards you find out what happens and who the traitor is. But that was really cool. And Cassian's, you know, shoot first and ask questions later was brilliant. He just didn't even think twice. Just like, boom, bye.
Yeah.
So he was just building up in his head. You could see the tension. He was thinking, well, he's just going to kill me as well, so I might as well kill him first. Bang. That was brilliant, you know, and you know, and another little sort of nod to that being Rogue One again, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your thoughts, Batan, about Vale being so quick to write Nemec off?
I just simply thought, you know, she's just trying to think about the greater good about the rebellion. Is that she was worried that if they stopped to see the doctor, that the Empire would find them and everything would be off. So I didn't. Again, I just thought she's always shown she's a woman to make the tough choices. I mean, she held a gun at a kid, so
yeah,
her, you know, saying, I hate to let this guy go, but we can't jeopardize our mission, really was not a surprise for me.
And out of curiosity, Batan, the fact that Cassian decides to side with Skeen in this case, to like, Cassian is always kind of, and this is always kind of we know Cassian tries to present this like, no, I don't care. I'm in it for myself. Like, you know, I'm just doing the job because of the money. He says that to the group. What do you think it says about his character that he decides to side with Skeen and try to save Nemec?
Just shows that he cares deep down. Is that he's one of those people who, you know, maybe even. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to give him the Batman analogy. I don't want to compare him to Batman too much. I was just going to say that he acts all tough, but deep down he really does care. And I think those are like my favorite kind of characters. The ones who act like they're so like hard ass, they appear that they don't care, but deep down you can really tell they do. Is that he didn't, you know, Nemec's a kid, and he's like, you know, we can't let this kid die. You know, it wasn't because he like Skeen, you said his name is?
Yeah.
He doesn't like Skeen, but he agrees with Skeen in this one issue. It's like, hey, we got to let this...
Yeah, save the young guy, you know.
And one of our own.
Yeah.
How about you, Super Bro?
I like what Lord Koj says here because it's kind of what I talked about last week when we all talked about who we thought the traitors were, and I was like, I'm going to say a hot take, or I'm going to just say somebody crazy and say it was Vel. And sure enough, when she said that, I was like, she's okay with the dude dying off pretty quickly, man. So I was like, that was interesting. I thought it was interesting how Skeen was very passionate to have Nemec be saved. And it almost made me wonder if Nemec wasn't as good as we think he was.
Oh, really? You were still hoping just to destroy Orkin Bean's world that Nemec was going to be the traitor.
Exactly. And he technically knows where to go, so payday for Nemec. Yeah, but... no, I also think that was a very weak way to kill Nemec off. It was kind of a cheap death, wouldn't you say?
Boba Fetted.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I feel like it was more used in a way of as a metaphor that power and greed is what crippled him and killed him. Like he was very much freedom and those Imperial credits would be kind of the definition of everything he was fighting against, the greed of power, and power is often considered money, right? And that's kind of like maybe what I took from it is like, it was just kind of, because I thought the same too. I was like, oh, that's kind of a shit way to go. But like, maybe it was used as a symbolism for his death, of his moral views, and it all coming down on him. But really his death was used as like a martyr. He was propelling the story forward.
I just like the way that it basically just showed you how dangerous this mission was, really.
Or wear seatbelts.
Yeah, you could
or strap down your credits.
Anything,
strap down your crates.
Anything can happen and go tragically wrong.
Absolutely. But I do have to say as well, when Andor just straight up shot that dude in the face, I cheered. I was like,
so did I.
That
was brilliant.
Shoot him,
I thought that was so stupid, I thought, because I'm like, how are they going to know that he was a traitor? All they know is that you shot him and what you're saying.
That's how it played out.
Corey, go ahead and go to the next slide because we all want to get to that.
I have a question for the panel. Does it talk about the shooting of the scene? Oh yeah, okay, perfect. Yep, cool.
Okay, so obviously Skeen says this whole deal. You finally know like why he was so adamant about getting Nemec to the doctor to try to save his life, even though he probably knew deep down that it wasn't going to work. But he's like, hey man, there's like, what did he say? 800 or 80 million credits on that ship. He's just like, we'll split it 40, I get 40, you get 40. And like, how to fly the ship. Like you and I would go, I'm in it for myself. And the fact that, as Super Bro Corey brought up, that he just, without hesitation, it almost caught me off guard that literally the guy even wasn't done finishing his speech, and already Cassian was like, I know I can't trust you. You're dead to me. And part of me wondered, did that mean Cassian is finally, he's for the cause? But no, like the very next scene, you see why Cassian does what he does. He wants out, and he just didn't want the issue. He didn't want the problem of having to deal with Skeen. What do you think it says about Cassian and maybe something in his past that has made him so quick to the trigger?
Just like I was saying earlier, he's on the ball, and he knows if he's going to betray everyone else, he's going to try and kill me as well. Mm-hmm. So it was just that when the tension built up, he was just like, no, I'm gonna end this shit now before it even goes anywhere. Which I thought was brilliant. Don't fuck around and find out.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Bat Dan?
Well, I thought that it just kind of showed that even though he's not ready to really join the rebellion yet full time, he still, I think, cares. It's like he still had some sort of I can't get involved in this, but I still feel sympathetic towards you. But also, think about what I kind of even alluded to this earlier. They went in. They were holding people hostage. They were holding a kid hostage. They were robbing. They were stealing money. And for him and for Skeen to just be like, we're going to take this for ourselves. At first it's like, okay, you're doing this to help the rebellion. But when you're like taking the money and running, no, at that point you're not doing it for the rebellion. You're doing it for yourself, and that you're just a criminal at that point. So to me, it didn't really surprise me that Andor just shot him because because for those two reasons, and yeah, I think that was a little dangerous because again, what was going to happen? He can't just. They're not going to just let him walk out just because you say he's a traitor, because you say he's a traitor. But also one thing I do want to say, for the traitor, it wasn't in the way I thought we were going to have a traitor. Like, I just assumed the traitor was going to work for the Empire, but Skeen, he wasn't working for the Empire either. He was
just in it for himself. Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, because all that money would have gone to funding building X-wings or buying, military equipment for the Alliance. I thought that was great. But yeah, Cassian shooting was brilliant. Bravo.
Cassian shot first.
Cassian shot first.
It's like boom.
Yeah. What was your thoughts, Super Bro Corey, on that whole scene with Skeen and Cassian, him shooting first, and yeah.
The deal offer sounded pretty good. 40,000, shit tons of credits. Yeah, that.
Are you a Sith? You're like sympathizing.
He's Sith, bro, Corey.
No, it was an interesting take, because we're still early on in this the rebellion. I feel like everybody is doing it is kind of still doing it for themselves. Like the cause hasn't really been defined, and for the rebellion still yet, it feels like. So, honestly, I was kind of wondering if Andor would have gone off with him a little bit too. So, I was hoping that he'd shoot him in the face right away, and so I was happy to see that's the way it went. Even before he finished the sentence, that was great, but. I'm glad. It's also interesting that he only took his share of it, of the money. Would you have taken a little bit more there? Who knows?
See, well, I think that's why she knew to believe what he said. The fact that he was like, I just killed Skeen because he said he was going to take everything and run. And honestly, I think and this is where I say I really want to know what happened to Cassian's past, because we saw him do this same thing in the very beginning of Rogue One, and here he is doing it again. So there's no progression of him, of why he does that in Rogue One. From here, something happened before that made him quick to shoot somebody that he didn't trust or couldn't put his life, in their hands. And I think the fact that he was able to kind of be like, I'm only taking the 200,000. Here's the Kyber crystal back. Give it back to Luthen. It's his. He's like, and I'm out of here. I did my job. I don't need to be a part of this any longer. And not only that, you kind of see how quick. What was this tight little niche group that seemed like they all trusted each other? Like, why are you bringing in this stranger, Clem into the group? And yet, really, when you think about it, there's just two of them left. It's just Vale and oh gosh, I'm totally spacing the other girl's name.
Too many characters.
That
Cinta.
was
Cinda.
Yeah. So that's it of what's the rebellion right now, at least of what their group
and
is.
she's not even with them.
No, yeah. I was going to say that she's left on the planet in the Imperial uniform with her gun, just walking up behind the festival thing. I was thinking, is she going to try and take them all out herself, or is she just going to, join back in with them and pretend it was nothing?
So just escaping the chaos, I think.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah,
saw
maybe.
in one of the trailers, like you see an Imperial ship that comes to, comes to the planet. It's Aldani. Thank you, Aldani. You see an Imperial cruiser fly over, and she's looking up at it on a speedster. So I think she's still on that planet, and she's gonna try to get away. Who knows what happens with that? But I mean, she could be captured, and that's kind of what helps the Imperial forces be right on their heels of catching up to them. But I think that's why Vale's able to trust what Cassian says. The fact that he's like, this guy tried to steal from you, I killed him, but I'm only taking my 200,000. Like, go do whatever it is. Go do your rebellion thing. I'm not rebellion. I just want to survive. And honestly, maybe to get back to his original mission to find his sister, because we haven't heard him mention his sister. But also one thing that I like, all the things I was right on, right? The fact that there was a traitor, it was going to be Skeen. The story he told about his brother committing suicide, the axe forgets, but the tree doesn't, was a lie. I knew as soon as he said that story, I was like, that can't be true. There was something weird about how he said that. I was like, that's not true story right there. And he told him, he's just like, yeah, I lied. I was just like, trying to get you to, basically not suspect anything. But I love that. And I also said in our episode 5 review that I said, Nemec is going to die, and Nemec's death is what's going to propel Cassian forward to wanting to join the rebels. Now, while it wasn't instant, it was important for Nemec to leave his most valued possession behind, his book, basically all about the rebellion and his beliefs about the rebellion and why they need to fight the Empire. He gave his manifesto to Cassian because it was important for the biggest doubter of the group to have the person who had so much faith in it. He died for it, right?
Makes me wonder what he wrote about Andor. He said he didn't write about him. He wrote about him, but he didn't write about him. So I'm curious I hope they give us some insight, like maybe Andor reading it, the book or something, or maybe a page that we can read for ourselves or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Why? So do you guys get that same feeling like that he left his manifesto for Cassian because, maybe this is going to be the point that helps him believe in the rebels' beliefs and morals?
Yeah, I think so. And not only leading to that, but also gaining the trust of the girl and the guy making everything happen. In the shop. I can't think of his name now. It's kind of sort of a little bit of an initiation going from both angles.
You're talking about Luthen?
Luthen. Yeah, and it's all leading up to that. And and Cassian says, we were saying, why would he shoot first? That quick and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He says in Rogue One, suddenly the rebellion's real to you. I've been in this since I was 6 years old. So it's just obviously just one tough son of a bitch that don't fuck around.
Yeah.
And that's why he was picked to be, the rebel assassin spy for the rebellion,
Yeah, because we haven't even learned why Luthen was so adamant about choosing Cassian. Going past the Star Path, finder, like that didn't matter to him. He wanted Cassian. Why? He knew about Cassian's past. Why? Yeah. There's still a lot of questions about Luthen and his history and involvement with Cassian's history. So I mean,
I said before, didn't I, in an earlier episode, some definite dark. Maybe Luthen was involved with the Emperor, something to do with the Empire. And it was Cassian's father's death that made him think, "Oh, I don't want to be a part of this." This is my big ongoing theory that Luthen is somehow connected to the Emperor. You know,
I
there's
still
so
dig that theory.
so many signals there. You know, even down to what he's wearing in the latest episode. You know, he was dressed just like the Emperor. Totally in that world the Emperor would be in. I could just imagine maybe the Emperor walking into his shop, you know, and being like, "Gotcha," you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Batan? What do you think? Nemec's manifesto is going to do for Cassian? Do you think he's going to read it and it's going to change his views to join the rebellion, or is there going to be another reason why he joins the rebellion?
I think it's going to be that book. That's always how this stuff works out, is that, you know, he's like off doing his own mission. I think there'll be other factors into it, but I think the final straw will be he'll finally read the book, and then he'll go, oh, I need to join the rebellion because they didn't give him that book for nothing. There was a reason why the writers made sure he had that book. So that book's going to have to play a part in it, or else that was just a pointless scene. So it's that same kind of formula we've heard before, where someone like passes a message, they don't read it, and then once they're gone, they read the message, and then they're inspired. Kind of like End of Zack Snyder's Justice League when Cyborg reassembles that recorder thingy his father gave him, and listens to recording afterwards and becomes inspired. I think it's going to be kind of like that type of situation where he wishes he listened to his words, feels bad he's dead, and
yeah, absolutely. How about you, Super Bro Corey? Where do you think this is all going to lead for Cassian and where do you think he's going?
Yeah, he has one mission that he was working on in the very beginning, right? So he's looking for his sister. I think that's while this was kind of the in-between, we've kind of completed this chapter for the most part now, like Kojo was saying, or was it Savage? We're a series of threes, constantly. It was Savage who said that, Kojo that said that last week. We're in, four different movies of three. So, I think we're going to kind of move on to going back into his way now to trying to figure some things out. And we're also going to see what the Empire does for their plans that they're creating that we'll talk about here shortly as well.
Yeah, well, go ahead and go to the next slide, Corey, because, obviously the Empire has been attacked, so everyone is rushing. And I loved this scene because this scene was just like, I love seeing this. We're so used to seeing the rebellion side of things, of like how they handle a situation, how they react, how they fight, they try to escape. It's very much the same formula for the rebellion often, right? And they try to do a daring suicidal mission that somehow works out. Here we're seeing the Empire react to the rebellion and really the first blow. And you can tell everyone's kind of shocked. They're panicked. They're kind of all flustered. They don't know what to do. And of course, the commander of the Imperial security force here, I'm totally spacing his name.
Chief Hine?
Chief Hine, thank you.
Do you just have Google, Corey? Like a list of all the characters?
No. Yes.
Oh, do you? Here I'm thinking Corey's like super, like he just
this guy I said quickly because I do know his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Chief Hine, right? He's just like, hey, I need you guys to. He's the only one that's calm about it. Like he's not really surprised. He knew it was coming to this moment. But with showing strength, they're gonna try to hammer down this small group of rebels that were daring enough to make a blow towards them. And honestly, probably in the grand scheme of things, even though it was a large payroll for the Empire, it probably honestly wasn't that big of a deal to them, but enough to make them go, you guys are dead. you know? And of course he's like, I want a plan. And, at midnight, give me everything you guys have. We're going to take these guys out. We're going to find them. So obviously the gears are turning. Things are getting crazy. We see Mon Mothma. She's giving a speech at the Senate, which, yes, I think I saw someone in the chat saying, did I see Sly Moore? I'm not sure if it is Sly Moore because it was such a blurry picture, but it did look like a bald head, which Sly Moore, guys, if you don't know who she is a force sensitive chief of staff member of Emperor Palpatine that you've seen in like Revenge of the Sith, and I think you've even seen her in Attack of the Clones. And I think, if I recall, in some of the comics and books, she has a bit of a relationship, an intimate relationship with Palpatine.
Oh, nice.
Is she the mother of Rey's grandmother then?
I don't. They never stated if that is the case, but possibly.
My man.
I don't know though, but yes, I did see that. But guys, I don't know about you, but I loved this particular scene of seeing everyone react, because in a way,
It was great.
it kind of felt like seeing the real world, and in a way I've always kind of felt weird, like maybe we shouldn't see ourselves in Star Wars so much, but like, to kind of see this galaxy that's different from our own. But in a way it was kind of cool to feel like, oh, I know what that's like. I know what it feels, to be a terrorist attack or something, like, and hearing the news breaking out and everyone's like, oh, what? Like, and in a way they're kind of like on social media. There's a guy in the tablet in the store of Luthen's antique shop. He's like, oh yeah, we just got attacked. Someone stole all this money from us. And for the first time we see Luthen give a genuine smile, because, oh my God, we made it. But I loved how, while he's excited that the mission worked out, there's also that moment of, oh my God, it started just like you mentioned in episode 5. The rebellion has started, and he knows that there's going to be consequences. There is going to be a response from the Empire, and the Empire's response is probably not going to be very diplomatic, like maybe the Republic would have done. I don't know.
I really loved it, and Mom Mothma's reaction as well was brilliant. It was that whole scene was just so well acted, and really gave that, oh wow, right, this is kicking off now.
Yeah,
it really gave you that feeling of Viva la Rebellion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It was great. Her reaction was so spot on to kind of see, and you kind of see what the Senate has become. There's not many people there anymore. It's like really just 2 people, and it's kind of crazy to see. And I love seeing that we finally see what the Imperial Senate is, with the new chain of command, I guess you could say, the new tyrants on the block. It's really, you could tell there's not much power to it, and there's not a lot going on. Like, probably they don't get anything done but bicker, which that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But her reaction, she's noticing people are no longer listening to her. There's commotions getting started. And she doesn't even need to really, she does look on her tablet to see what's going on.
So better check the news.
Yeah, better check the news. And of course she learns that, oh shit, it started. But the thing she talked about was kind of what she mentioned, and I think in episode 4, talking about the Gorman situation that's happening. That's going to be that eventual big massacre that's happening. Maybe a response from the Empire of no longer being tolerant of any type of aggression from anybody, that they're just now going to shut people down and shoot them on spot if they cause them any troubles. So I think the future of Andor, the next half of this series, is going to be intense. It's going to be brutal. As we've seen clone troopers in the trailers. We've seen stormtroopers attacking people. Things are about to hit the fan. And the next episode, Corey, can you look it up? I can't remember where you can find it, but episode 7 is going to be directed by the same guy who he's just doing episode 7, and then he's doing the last 2 episodes of Andor. So this tells me episode 7 is going to be a pretty big deal. The fact that the guy who has the season finale, he has a big weight on his shoulders and responsibilities to kick off this second half with a bang. And I can only imagine it's going to be pretty intense. Savage Bat, what's your theories on what episode 7 is going to bring?
Well, I'm not sure really. It's going to be something special, but as I keep saying, I'm fucking sure it's something to do with the Emperor Palpatine all the way.
Oh, you think we might finally see the Emperor?
Maybe start to point to that way. It would be great if they'd done that as the season finale. The Emperor shows up, and because that could be. There's going to be more seasons, so that could be further on. But it would be
official?
nice.
There is going to be another season?
Yeah, I saw that there was a leak that there was going to be two seasons.
Oh,
Wait,
damn.
like 2 more or 1 more season? Like there's gonna be 2 seasons or 2 extra
I
seasons?
think 2 seasons in total. I think.
Awesome.
Don't quote me on that, but this is the
Okay.
rumor. This is the rumor.
Hey, if that's the case, I hope so, because I think there's still more story to tell between this and Rogue One. I think you really can show all the crazy things the rebellion had to do, because we were also so used to just like watching the rebellion lose in a lot throughout the Star Wars stuff, and like Star Wars movies, and even the Rebel show, that we often didn't like get the wins. It was kind of just, once again, you do your best, you make a dent, but you then run away, make a dent, run away.
Also, got a
Sorry,
little
go
bit
ahead.
of a special edition bit here. I done a little bit of research. We were saying that in the earlier episodes when they first got to the planet that it looked a lot like Scotland, and I said it was either Scotland or the Pennines. It was Scotland, and it's the Cruachan Dam is where the dam is. In the last episode.
Yeah.
But there's more to that. There was a quarry in Buckinghamshire, Wisbech Quarry in Dorset, Middle Peak Quarry in Wirksworth and Derbyshire, and then this is the weird one, 30 miles away from me, Corrington Oil Refinery in Corrington, Essex, which is literally just down the road from me.
Wow.
Is where it was filmed.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
so you
it's actually,
could've, like,
I actually looked on Google Maps. It's actually 30 miles away from where I live.
You could have snuck on set.
Yeah, dude, you got to give us the insider scoops. You're gonna be my source.
Yeah. So anyway, I was right about the Scotland thing, because we've got an ongoing joke with my brother, where I say, "I recognise that tree," or "I recognise that rock" in a movie as a laugh, and it turns out to be true. And done it again.
That's so exciting. Bate, what's your theories about episode 7? Do you think it's going to be another action-packed episode, or kind of slow it back down?
I think it may be slowed back down a little bit. My guess is, since this thing is seems to be happening in arcs, I'm guessing the next 3 episodes are going to be Andor looking for his sister. I think he's going to check on his adoptive mom, not his kidnapper, his actual adoptive mom who saved him. I think he's going to check on her and make sure that she's okay, and try, I think it's going to kind of calm down a little bit there, that he could probably get on there without really getting in trouble too much. So check on his girl. His girlfriend, were they dating? I'm a little confused on that.
They used to date, but honestly, I'm sure Cassian's probably not the easiest person to get close to. It seems like he would push away people pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to circle back to that sister storyline, or else that was pointless. But yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone could. I mean, even what's her face from Rogue One? It's like, I think they were kind of an item at the end, but even that took a while to get there right before they, died. But
yeah,
I think that's gonna be the next story arc. Is it's gonna take 3 episodes for him to kind of rejoin. You'll see some action on the other side of the...
Maybe finally get Saul Guerrera.
Yeah, get Saul Guerrera. Just kind of see, because see Mon Mothma kind of transition from her role as senator to role as just flat out in the rebellion now, because it's obvious by Rogue One she's not a senator anymore. She's just full-time rebellion, no longer undercover. Maybe even see God, why can't I think of his name? Leia's adoptive... Organa, Senator Organa.
Yeah.
I think I'm guessing we'll see him in it.
Possibly. But it's actually A New Hope, where they go on the Death Star and he says the Emperor has just dissolved the Senate. So that's when it actually happens. Was in episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because that Organa was still in the Senate in Rogue One.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was still there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. In A New Hope, they actually dissolved it. The Emperor dissolved it completely. That was part of... They actually say it in it,
Yeah, I remember. Which
Super Bro Corey, how about you? What's your theories on episode 7?
Before we get there, Benjamin Caron, Toby Haynes, and Susanna Weddesey are the directors for who's directing Andor. So does any of those
say the names again?
Benjamin Karen, Toby Haynes, and Susanna White.
I think it's Benjamin Karen that's doing. Oh no, or maybe I think it's Toby actually. Toby's doing episode 7, and then he's coming back for the last 2.
Cool.
And then Benjamin Karen is those episodes in between.
Karen directing it. Great.
That was a lot harder to find, but that said, what I did see in my hunt for episode 7, I'm seeing a lot of articles saying that this is going to be Star Wars that we've never seen before in a series for episode 7. So I'm excited.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We've never seen anything like this. They're saying.
Yeah.
Less kiddie stuff and more adult oriented.
But I loved Andor before, but this episode has just solidified this as some of the greatest Star Wars ever made, in my opinion.
Well, speaking of, we were going to rate this episode.
Yeah.
Savage Bat, you seem like you're ready. You're saying the best episode ever yet. What's the score you give?
Yeah, well, I've rated the other ones at around a 9, so I'm going to have to go for 9.5.
Woo! 9 points. And he shot first. He shot first.
Most definitely. Just the TIE fighter scene and, just the whole thing. But just the TIE fighter scene and that gunfight alone was just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
We are now Star Wars in. Do you even know how to Star Wars? Do you even Star Wars? Do you even Star War? Yeah, that was fucking Star Wars.
Bat Dad, how about you? What's your rating, brother?
I would give it a 9.56234778.
9.564237 from Bat Dad.
I always give ratings like that. I go very far into the.
Out of curiosity, is that the same number you've been giving as the back end, or do you flip the numbers every now and then?
Yeah, I just kind of use random numbers after like the first 2. Like the first 2 are kind of like the first 2 decimal points are more serious, and then after that I just kind of say numbers.
Yeah. All right, Super Bro, how about you?
I'm gonna let you go first, Trey.
I think I got to give it like a. I mean, I was right on a lot of my theories, so that definitely helps. That made me feel good.
First time for everything.
Pow.
Hurtful. I was right on other shit. Damn, I was right about Obi-Wan Kenobi, all that stuff.
No, you're not.
You're right about Obi-Wan Kenobi, except for the part that Obi-Wan gave up too soon. So.
Jesus. I think
I called Reva.
Yeah, you did call Reva. I think the best score I've given Andor so far is an 8.8, or an 8.7. I think this one I'm going to give a 9.3.
Well, yeah. Oh, I'm really glad to hear this.
Why a 9.3, Trey?
What's that?
Why 9.3? Why a 9.3?
Why 9.3? Because it was phenomenal. I don't know if I'd say it was a masterpiece for me, but like. Why? It was visually, but it was pretty damn close.
Yeah, I guess like.
But it has the opportunity to become a masterpiece once I've seen the entire.
That's why I went with 9.5, because you've got to leave a little bit room open because think maybe this finale, maybe the Emperor, things like that. So I'm sure it's going to be a solid 10. I can't wait to see how it plans out.
Yeah. I would have to say that I agree with Savage Bat here. I'm a 9.5 as well on this.
Also, sorry, and Saul Guerrero isn't even come into it yet, so that's going to be fucking awesome as well.
Oh yeah, that's
because he is, he's 100% Savage. He's Team Savage.
Yeah, I hope we get to see that side of him even more, the true terrorist, and like to see that really complex gray area of. He's fighting against the Empire, the bad guys, right? But he's going to a place that is like too far. I want to see that Saul Guerrero.
Yeah, same. So they touch on that in the animated,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Ezra and God, I can't think of her name for a second. The Sabine, they kind of joined him, and then they thought he was going a little too crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you, Corey? Oh wait, you said
I said
9.5.
Encore was Savage 9.5. I think the only thing that I'd like to see, what I'm still looking for is, do you guys get the feeling that it's a little bit too, cush over on the Empire side? Like, yeah, they're living fat and proud. And maybe this is what we'll start to see here soon. Like, I want to start to see them, like, I guess the problem that I was thinking to me, I was like, if those guys downstairs are actually letting, they're helping with this. I don't see that boding well for anybody when the Emperor shows up or Vader shows up. And maybe they haven't started snapping necks yet and force choking bitches yet or lighting people.
Because now that James Earl Jones sold his voice, they can do that.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point because they say that in, when Darth Vader says the Emperor's not as forgiving as I am, and then we'll double our efforts. Like, maybe you're going to whip him into shape.
Exactly. They definitely need to, and I hope
that's exactly what's going to happen. Because I mean, this was the first attack, right? Like we know because Mon Mothma, she keeps bringing up those one people that are starving on that planet, and that's where we know in Star Wars Legends a huge massacre that literally the Empire wipes them out because they just like we're fed up. Like they start rebelling just a little bit, and the Empire shoots them all dead because they're like, nope, we're not doing this. You're going to see now the Empire, they woke up the sleeping dragon, right? Like they were fat, they were proud, they were comfortable, and now there's no room for error. You're going to see a response from the Empire that is so scary and alarming that I think when Andor teams up with Saw Gerrera, kind of like what we saw in Star Wars Rebels, you're going to see that the two sides trying to fight fire with fire. And there's going to have to be that decision that is made of the rebels have to be more to have people join them. They have to be better.
Do you think that Vader and the Emperor would let the no fear side of things? Like it doesn't. It seems like they're like, it almost seems like there's really no consequences in the Empire right now.
Well, there definitely is some consequences, right? Because like you can tell there's like the officers, like especially the head officers, everyone in the Imperial Force feels paranoid. They feel like if they speak out and that the officer didn't, the chief officer didn't care what they had to say, that's it. They're done. I mean, look how quickly they shot down the Primor security, they were like, nope, you guys effed up. Like, this is our territory now. Like, we try to give you a little bit of power. You messed up once, ours, and it's just their way of power, right? Like we know that's why Emperor Palpatine got rid of the clones at one point, is that the clones, while they were better soldiers and they could get the job done, it was better to force all of the planets in the, Galactic Senate in the Republic to have them give their children to the Empire so that they would become the people fighting for the Empire. So people would have to support what the Empire's movements were, We're going to see that side because in the trailers we saw that there's still clones somewhere out there. Maybe that was a flashback or maybe it's present day. I don't know, but we'll have to see how they explain why there was clones.
Well, where does Obi-Wan take place in the... Like, does that take place before or after Andor? Because Obi-Wan, there's definitely all stormtroopers at that point.
Let's see. This is 5 years before. Oh, so it's Obi-Wan happened before. So there must be that clone troopers must have been a flashback.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember that. Because I remember it was like the only cloning Obi-Wan was that homeless guy.
Yeah, the 501st trooper.
Yeah, the one that if Obi-Wan had just not given up on Anakin, that Order 66 may not have happened.
Jesus. And on that note, Corey, what's the ratings that are...
Batwoman with a 9.7. Lord Kojay with a 10. 9.4 from The Butler. 9.6 from Red Hooded Outlaw. 9.7 from Oracle's Clock Tower. 9.8 from Trevor H.
Nope,
wow.
no Trevor. Nope, Trevor. Nope.
No, I'm not going all in. Solid 10. I can Star Wars. If not,
Loving
then
these.
it's 9.59.
I'm absolutely loving these scores.
Probably
Well-
best episode 9.6 from Restore Sniper Sky. 9.5 from Bat Fanatic. I think I found everybody's scores going through the chat again.
So it seemed like
Yeah.
everyone gave a 9. No one was in the 8s even.
It was a good episode.
I should also say
Impressive.
that,
Most impressive.
Orchid Bean said my thoughts for the episode. Rating 9, it was a 9.1. By far the best looking episode and probably the most visually pleasing episode I've ever watched, with the scene of the eye. Sad. He's very sad that his boy died, but him fighting through to help them escape, I personally think is the best scene of the show. He believed so much in what they were doing that he fought death to make it happen. So that was Orkin Bean's take on it all.
Yeah, so even Orkin Beans was a 9. So see, this was easily the best episode of Andor, and I think would rival some of the
100%.
best episodes in Obi-Wan Kenobi even. So
I think period out of all of it.
Wow.
It's always the Rogue One related stuff that's like the best of Disney Star Wars, because I still say Rogue One is the best Disney Star Wars movie, and this series is the best like Disney series I think so far.
I don't know if I could say I love Rogue One. I'm still conflicted about Rogue One, but I don't know if I can just like give it simply because I think you have to give one of George Lucas's films.
I said best Disney Star Wars.
The best Disney Star Wars. Okay, in that case, yes, I fully agree with you. Yeah.
No, seriously, I've said this before. I rate Rogue One's in my top 3.
Yeah.
It's Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, and Rogue One. That's my top 3 movies, Star Wars movies.
Yeah. And if I recall, what is it? Tales of the Jedi is next weekend, right? Savage?
Yeah. 26th, is it? Or 23rd of October? I can't remember.
I thought it was the same day as Black Adam, but I might be wrong. Or something like that. It was around that time, but nonetheless,
coming soon. Coming
soon. We'll be doing like 2 shows, basically, like one right after the other. Hopefully, we'll see how times work. I know it's gonna be kind of crazy. Maybe we'll do a different episode on another day, but we'll definitely be reviewing Tales of the Jedi for those who are waiting for it.
26.
Sorry, go ahead.
26, yeah.
26. Okay, cool. So we have some time to figure out the schedule. But as always, guys, I'd like to roll out the red carpet for my fellow Republic Commandos. Batan, tell us what you got going on, buddy.
Well, so actually, my last 2 episodes of Bat Dan's thoughts were both Star Wars related videos, and while I do say Obi-Wan, I do blame Obi-Wan a lot, I actually did a legitimate video about how I blame Mace Windu for a lot of what happened. So.
I've been waiting to break that down.
Oh yeah, I want to watch that because you bring up. I think we were also thinking about discussing that on a Delta Squad stream one of these times when there was no Star Wars stuff going on.
So you might have to be a callback, Bat Dan.
Might have to review that and break down what Bat Dan's thoughts were.
Yeah, I may have to rewatch that episode because I normally don't like to watch my own videos. Just I don't know, I feel weird watching myself, but hey, I may have to rewatch that one again. And in terms of new videos coming up, I'm gonna be doing a lot of Black Adam related videos to get ready for the movie, which I'm seeing at 3 p.m. on Thursday. So got a day and a half off of PTO for it.
Nice.
And as I always say in all my Star Wars episodes of Bat Dan's Thoughts, #Justice for Fives. And I do plan on doing a Fives video at some point. I just need to rewatch more of those Clone Wars episodes with Fives in them.
I'm excited for that. That'll be good. So, guys, make sure you subscribe to my boy Bat Dan's Thoughts if you haven't already. He's doing some great Star Wars content over there. As you've heard some of his Mace Windu breakdowns and the Justice for Fives one. That's going to be exciting. I can't wait for that. But definitely subscribe to his channel. We'll definitely have Bat Dan back on another time. My man, the Savage Bat. What you got going on? You got a lot of shows this weekend.
Yeah, I've got one in a few hours. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 4 hours. Me and Zod writer, and we may have a guest, I'm not sure yet. Talking lots of Black Adam, obviously. and the ridiculousness of the fandom attitude towards Black Adam. We're talking a lot about that. And yeah, on Sunday, same time Sunday, midnight UK time, so afternoonish, and that will be a crossover live stream with guests to the fandom. And Mikey Sutton has now become a regular on the channel. You know, I can't promise, but every single with the new live stream Sundays, Mikey Sutton showed up and dropped some bombs or some Dreamwalker news. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm very thankful for that. You know, Mikey looking out for me.
Accidentally dropping those bombs on your show.
Yeah. No, and it's great, you know, because it's great to have the guests from the fandom, and then, you know, Mikey Sutton's is the Don Corleone of the scoops and stuff. You know, him and Seal have the top men.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, sweet, dude. I'm excited for that, guys. If you have not subscribed to my boy, the Savage Bat, he's going to have some fire streams tonight and tomorrow. And hopefully, I'm not sure when this is going to go down, but Corey is currently in the process of watching all of the Lord of the Rings of Power show on Amazon Prime, because Sarah and I are all caught up, other than I haven't watched the finale yet. I was going to watch it before we did our show, so it was fresh in my mind. But we're going to give our whole season 1 review with our group. We're going to have some people on the panel. Hopefully, Savage, I don't know if you're available to join us, or even Bat, I don't know if you've watched
When are we doing that?
When's that?
Either Sunday or Monday. I don't know. Well, whenever you're done watching it, Corey, I'll have to decide.
It'll probably be Savage has his stream Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. It'd probably be like Sunday morning.
Night? No, noonish. It's not happening then.
Oh, yeah. See, I told you, Corey was like, I'll be able to get it done. I'll get it.
We'll see. Let's see, because I was going to do something after this. We'll see what happens.
So much. I haven't watched any of that show yet. I need to rewatch the Lord of the Rings movies first. I know they say you don't have to, but I have that OCD where it's like I have to watch the Lord of the Rings movies.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, Koj, if you've watched Rings of Power, which looks like you have, you're completely welcome to join us on that show, because I want to invite, because I know it's been very controversial. I've heard all the things before the show came out. I have some takes on it that probably some of the community is not going to like. I've read the Lord of the Rings books. I haven't read all the Silmarillion. I just started reading it. But I've been listening to even some of the audiobooks again to get my mind back into Lord of the Rings, because I do love that whole IP, and I was excited for this show, and we'll talk about it. I'm open to people who hated it, who loved it, or people who were just like, man, we'll see what they do with season 2, because season 2 is guaranteed no matter what. That's happening. So be on the lookout for that, guys. I'm going to create a whole group for that. I don't know what we're going to call ourselves just yet, but it's going to be like Delta Squad streams, but Lord of the Rings style. So it's going to be fun. Make sure you guys keep an eye out.
It's just going to be the Fellowship.
Yeah. But someone's already called the Fellowship. I'll talk to you later about it, Corey. I have ideas.
I have ideas.
Shout me in the messenger as well. I'll, if I'm around, I'm up for that.
Sweet. Can't wait, guys. It's gonna be a blast. Well, thank you as always to the panel. You guys are amazing. You guys know I love you. It's always good having you guys on our shows. We just have good times here, especially with the Delta Squad. And we're going to be continuing our Andor Saturday reviews, so be on the lookout. And we'll also be doing our Black Adam review next week. A lot going on over at the Bat Channel. So if you don't want to miss an episode, smash that like, share this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And also, you guys can follow us on our other social media pages to keep up with us and to tell us what you guys are thinking, or some of the cool news you guys are finding out. You can DM us over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at _Bat Channel. We are working on the Discord, or you could do Facebook if you're still over on Facebook. I feel like Facebook is like slowly going away, but we're there if you guys are there too. But guys, thank you so much. I am your host, Trey, with
this motherfucking Batman, Savage Bat.
Love that so much.
Bat Dan's thoughts, and Obi-Wan gave up.
See what you've caused, Corey. See what you've caused by this. Obi-Wan has given up too easily.
I stand with Anakin Skywalker. What can I say? Anakin Skywalker is completely innocent in all this.
Really?
What?
Anakin the child murderer. That's great, Ben.
Yeah. He's completely innocent in this Batman. I saw a computer hologram of him killing younglings.
But going back to that for a second, that's even more reason why they needed to frickin' show that they're not afraid to blast an Empire's kids' brains out too. You know, I'm just saying. You know, they were like
there seems to be a theme going on here.
Yeah. They slaughtering them children. Yeah.
Star Wars is okay to kill kids, right? Jesus. Anyways, this guy down below me right here, his name is
Super Bro Corey.
And he hates Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to tune in weekly. Same about time.
Same about the channel.
See you there.
Damn it now.
Have a good one, everybody.
That is.